Go. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm glad you could join us for our webinar, Life After SAP BPC. My name is Peter Digby and I'm the President of Performance Analytics. Also presenting today is my business partner, Graham Finney, who's our Chief Operating Officer. And at Performance Analytics, we specialize in SAP BPC. And over the last 5 years, much of our work has been focused on moving customers forward to their next performance management platform. And with that in mind, we feel fortunate to have Matt Norris, Director of Corporate Financial Planning and Analysis at ATS Corporation, joining us today. ATS was one of the early adopters of BPC, and Matt's going to share the steps ATS Corporation took with our help in moving from BPC to a modern solution and the benefits they derived. As you all know, BPC was an outstanding product, and I trust it served you well. Now, with the clock on BPC ticking down, you have some big decisions to make, and in this webinar, we're going to provide you with the critical information you need to prepare for the future. So we have a lot to cover. We're going to get into it right now. Okay, we'll just drop off the video here to get more real estate. There we go. All right, in terms of the agenda, yeah, well, we've done introductions, and the very first thing Graham's going to be sharing with us is going to be the end of maintenance schedule. And as many of you know, that's fluctuated a little bit over the years, so you'll be seeing the very latest. We will also take a look at the SAP roadmaps, what's happening with BPC 2021 for BW for HANA, discuss your options, visit the SAP strategy for enterprise performance management, the customer success story with Matt, which I think, again, is going to be really good for you. And we have some OneStream customer feedback. That's an alternative option that some of our BPC customers have been moving to. And then next steps. All right, so let me take a moment to introduce you to our company and how we tie into the BPC discussion. We're a specialized performance analytics, as a specialized boutique systems integrator of enterprise performance management solutions. And we have 20 years, or actually 21 years, of building scalable, modular, end-to-end corporate performance management solutions from the leading vendors. And our goal is really to help finance unleash the full potential of their organization with timely and accurate reporting and analytics. Now, BPC has been the core of our business since our start in 2003. And since that time, our team of experts has delivered hundreds of EPM projects. We're proud partners with SAP and OneStream. And when you hire us, you're getting all of this BPC knowledge plus all of this SAP knowledge, not just BPC knowledge, that can be tapped into to make sure your move to a new system is smooth and successful. Okay, we'll take just a quick look at the next. Yeah, here's a quick snapshot of our customers, and most of these are SAP ERP customers. They're running SAP ERP, and Performance Analytics was hired to implement BPC. The majority of our customers are still running BPC today, but we are seeing in the market the move to a new system is underway. And of those that have moved on from BPC, some either moved to group reporting and or SAP Analytics Cloud for Planning, and others have chosen to go with OneStream. What's the best option for you? Well, to help you with that assessment, I'm going to turn it over to Graham.
Thanks, Peter. And I'm going to jump right into the schedule for the BPC end of maintenance. Most companies have corporate policies where they must have support and maintenance contract in place for any production-related software that they utilize. And so it's important to understand what the end of maintenance dates are for each of the different versions of BPC. So you can see the dates here for the different versions. BPC 10.1 Microsoft, its end of maintenance is the middle of next year. So there's just a little over a year left for them to make a decision. There isn't going to be any extended maintenance coming from SAP, so there will be no maintenance at all available. BPC 10.1 NetWeaver is due the end of 2027. And I should point out that probably almost 60% of the customers that are on the call today are using this version, 10.1 NetWeaver. 2027 also corresponds with the end of ECC maintenance, which means that many customers will be faced with replacing or doing something with both their ERP and their EPM solutions. So that'll be pretty intensive on the resources standpoint. BPC 11.1, they just moved the date from the end of 2024 to the end of this year, 25. So they've got less than a year left to decide what they want to do. And then BPC 2021, they again recently moved the date from the end of 2027 to the end of 2030. So it gives them a little bit of a reprieve. In all cases, and sorry, I'll go back. You see the last update. This is referring to functional updates for the products. There's still enhancements ongoing for the platform, so Microsoft or NetWeaver platforms or databases or SAC integration, but from a functional standpoint, there hasn't been any updates really in the last 8 to 10 years. So the end of the road for BPC is pretty clear. In terms of roadmaps, I'll go fairly quickly through these. BPC roadmap is non-existent after the end of 2024. And as I mentioned, it's mostly to support things like Analytics Cloud integration. Compare that to the SAC or Analytics Cloud roadmap, which is actually quite robust. And you can see it goes beyond 2026 at this point. Note that the SAC roadmap includes enhancements for their BI capabilities, so their dashboarding, reporting, data visualization tool concept. But there are, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, for planning as well, there are some enhancements. So pretty robust roadmap. Similarly for group reporting, as part of the overall S/4HANA roadmap, it does have a fairly robust roadmap as well. BPC 2021 seems to be the emerging remaining product that SAP will keep on an ongoing basis. And so I just wanted to compare this with previous versions of BPC. It is still on-premise, BPC always will be. It does only run on the HANA database platform. You will require additional IT support, typically for either HANA or BW for HANA or both. But it is an improved architecture over previous versions, and so you should see improved performance for things like data migration, data loading, that kind of thing. And you can get improved performance through rebuilding your logic in the HANA platform versus in the BPC environment. Note that it does require new licenses for both BPC and BW for HANA. So we maintain that since there is no new additional functionality really per se, that it's an expensive proposition to actually migrate to BPC 2021. All you're really getting is an extended support life cycle. And just to convince you that there are no enhancements, this is the SAP Help Portal. I cut and pasted this earlier this week. What's new in 2021? Nothing. There hasn't been any enhancements in the product since it was launched 4 years ago. So what are your options? Well, as mentioned, for BPC NetWeaver customers, it may seem logical to migrate to BPC 21, but it is still a sunset product. And again, because of the additional license costs and no new functionality, we're not recommending that as a go-forward solution. Some customers have, and even some of the customers who are on today have migrated to BPC 2021, but there's not much future even beyond that. You could rebuild planning on the Analytics Cloud product, but I caution you to not assume that the functionality that you enjoyed in BPC will be available in Analytics Cloud. It's not a safe assumption. We suggest that you do the homework, gather your requirements, do a fit gap analysis, and compare that to the functionality that's available in Analytics Cloud. We did this with one of our customers, Saskatchewan Telecommunications, and determined that SAC was indeed a good fit for them, not only for their planning, but also for consolidation. So we actually are just finishing up implementation of both consolidation and planning using Analytics Cloud. It's consolidation light because there are things that BPC handled quite well, like intercompany processing that SaskTel didn't need in SAC, and therefore they were able to utilize it. You can also rebuild consolidation and group reporting. If you're heading towards S4HANA or on S4HANA, then this is a feasible solution to evaluate. It does offer robust functionality because it was based on the original SEM BCS product, which was launched 23 years ago. It was shelved when BPC came out, and then they dusted it off once the group reporting product was launched. So it does have robust functionality available to it. It is an IT-oriented solution. So for those people coming from the finance side of the house, if you're expecting to own your own destiny in terms of managing the consolidation functionality on an ongoing basis, you're going to be disappointed with group reporting because it's more an IT-oriented solution. It's also well known in the marketplace for having very long implementations and expensive, more so than BPC. SAP's overall strategy for performance management has S4HANA feeding with live feeds where appropriate into some of these products that fall under their performance management category. Some of these products, not all the products can do live actual feeds of data, such as Analytics Cloud for planning. The data has to be migrated, but it presents itself as a fairly clean architecture. I encourage you to look beyond the diagram that we're seeing here and look under the covers a little bit, because this picture doesn't give you everything. More specifically, the interaction between these products requires some additional management and maintenance. So for instance, there is ETL tools and data mapping that needs to take place between these tools to make sure that you can move data. Several of these tools require FX or foreign currency functionality, and that requires you to set up business rules or logic in each of these tools, or the appropriate ones, to handle the calculation of foreign currency. And it's up to you to make sure that the calculations are exactly the same between these products. Otherwise, you're going to end up with different sets of data. And similarly, metadata, there's no mapping capability between these products, so the metadata has to be maintained. It's your responsibility on an ongoing basis. And although Fiori is used as the front-end tool for many of these tools, the underlying user experience is going to be quite different between them. So setting up a business model in Analytics Cloud for planning is very different than setting up a consolidation model in group reporting, to give you an example. We're going to take a look at an alternative, which is OneStream, in a few moments, but I wanted to just compare that architecture with the architecture of OneStream in their strategy for SAP Performance Management. So they can provide direct links to S4HANA, but under a single platform, you're able to perform the financial close process. You can do planning and forecasting. You can do tax provisioning. You can do lease accounting, account reconciliation, again, all under one roof. And more importantly, those things that I mentioned, like ETL, there's only one ETL tool required, and that can capture all the data and put it into one staging area at once. there's only one calculation for foreign currency business rules required. There's only one set of metadata that needs to be maintained, and the user experience is identical across the entire product line, regardless of what type of application you're using. So a very different architecture between a single platform supporting many applications versus a multi-product platform that SAP provides. And that brings us to introducing Matthew Norris, who's the Director of Corporate FP&A at ATS Corporation. We look forward to hearing your journey. Matt, please take it away.
Thank you, Graham. And it's great to share a little bit of our story today. We were previously on BPC and we moved to OneStream a number of years ago. I've been with ATS. I'm working on my 18th year currently in the FP&A role, as Graham mentioned. Next slide. ATS is an international company operating in over 20 countries. Our company is in the automation business in different industries: life science, food, transportation, consumer products, and nuclear energy. Our work goes into almost every country in the world. We have customers everywhere. Next slide. We implemented OneStream and went live in March 2020. The implementation took approximately 6 months to complete with the team's support. And the implementation set us up for the growth that ATS was set to experience, which we weren't aware of when we decided to implement OneStream. Right after the implementation, we had the acquisitions of CFT, SP, Biodot, NCC, as you can see in the picture. And OneStream provided a workflow, a framework, to allow our acquisitions to go in, own their results, and to work through the month-end close process without Excel files being shared from corporate out to the divisions and whatnot. It really provided that framework and set us up for the growth the business was going to experience. And it would have been difficult for us to manage that growth, which was very significant, without our transition to OneStream. Next slide. This slide demonstrates the growth that we've experienced in revenue from fiscal 2013, 600 million, to 2024 at 3 billion. And now we're listed on the New York Stock Exchange as well as in Toronto. Next slide, please. So a little bit on why the project was required. BPC was coming to the end of life. We weren't seeing enhancements in the product for several years. And there would have been significant effort to rewrite most reports and the script logic, even to bring it up to date. There was a lack of visibility as well. Finance didn't have ownership of the system fully. We were reliant on IT to own when we were building new reports and mappings. It just wasn't a user-friendly system. And now our divisions actually own their own account mappings from the ERP to OneStream, and finance is the owner of the system. At the time, we took a look at BPC 11, OneStream, Hyperion, Cognos, and Vena. Next slide. So we saw OneStream as an all-in-one solution. We implemented the consolidation module. We simplified our chart of accounts. We implemented flows, which are balance sheet flows, the movements of, say, our capital asset accounts, additions, disposals, whatnot. These flows, by implementing flows, it simplified our balance sheet chart of accounts, but it allowed us to automate our cash flow in both local and CAD dollars, our reporting currency. As well, we implemented forecast and annual operating plan workflows and project reporting, which is located in Thing Planning. I think about Thing Planning as sort of a data warehouse separate from our main cube. We're able to house all of our customer, contracts. So we have contract value, we have revenues on that project, costs, we're able to pull backlog by customer, by industry, revenues, bookings, all different metrics right away on the fly. And previously this data was in Excel and we weren't able to consolidate without a lot of manual intervention and compiling and translating. Now it's available in our system and we're able to pull the data quickly to support our business. Next slide, please. So quickly, a few of the benefits that we've achieved with OneStream. It's a faster, more intuitive system, more user-friendly. It streamlined the close workflow, which has allowed us to onboard acquisitions quickly. It eliminated those Excel files that we were sending between corporate out to the divisions for supporting documents, project reporting. We also implemented 3 hierarchies. So the operational, legal, tax, using the same entities, we're able to roll up the results in different ways for different purposes. All of our division comments and analysis are loaded into the system, so it's quite quick to consolidate their comments and feedback on a monthly basis. We also standardize our reports. Previously in BPC, we had a number of one-off use reports. We were able to standardize and have key reports where we can change the parameters and use them for different purposes, which simplified the maintenance. Next slide. So a little bit on our structure. We do have a number of ERPs that we use. We use SAP largely in Europe as an ERP system, as well as JD Edwards. Those are 2 of our key ERP systems, but each acquisition can come with its own ERP systems. And often each acquisition comes with multiple ERP systems. So we have a number of ERP systems, and we feed the data into MuleSoft, sort of a middleware enterprise service bus. We connect the ERP to MuleSoft, feed over the financials and over to OneStream. As well, we're able to feed information from our HRIS system automatically through MuleSoft to OneStream. From there, we will feed data back to MuleSoft over to Workiva to complete the external reporting, our financial statements, MD&A, external disclosures. And we are feeding data over to Tableau, where we use as a visualization, a dashboarding tool. And it's helpful where we have multiple data sources coming together. So perhaps there's some of the data coming from OneStream, perhaps other data points, and it's coming through Tableau and helping us to manage the business. Next slide. So a little bit on our implementation team. It was fairly lean, I'd say. We had our steering committee, the project manager, the implementation lead, area leaders, and other finance team members supporting. But it was really important. We had our implementation partners. So OneStream and Performance Analytics worked through the implementation together. Next slide, please. Just on Performance Analytics, because they were part of the implementation from the get-go, once we went live, they were able to continue supporting us as needed. And it's really valuable to me to have a partner like Performance Analytics that we can make a quick call. Perhaps the issue is a little more technical than our finance team would be ready to set up, ready to support, or we're just looking for an ear, someone to bounce an idea off. Performance Analytics has been there to support us, and it's been a great partnership. And it's really helped us to have finance own OneStream, to have a technical partner that we're able to call on as needed. Just quickly on where we're going in the next few, time. OneStream ATS focuses on continuous improvements. Part of our core, it's what we do. And so we continue to evaluate improvements to our close process. Perhaps there's improvements we can make around journal entries or our intercompany reconciliation process. So we continue to evaluate this, talk to other OneStream customers, see what's working for them, speak to OneStream Performance Analytics and look at that. As well, we're looking at how we can use the data, because we have a lot of data, especially in think planning. How can we use that data to support the business, to help drive business decisions? So that's a little bit on where we're going as a team. Next slide, I think it might be over to you, Graham.
Thanks very much, Matt. Appreciate that insight. It was valuable. I just want to share a little bit more feedback from an existing BPC customer, long-term BPC customer, and when they reviewed OneStream, this is their exact feedback. So the next 2 slides is their feedback. So they saw a better architecture with OneStream, easier to use workflow tools. They mentioned the lack of enhancement in BPC, and they really saw the future capabilities of OneStream to support them. And they also mentioned the migration tool that we built that would allow them to migrate from BPC to OneStream easily. From a functional perspective, they recognize the account mapping and dimensional enhancements in OneStream. They saw the account reconciliation module could easily replace Blackline, which many on the call today will appreciate because they're probably using Blackline. They saw the drill through, in their case, to SQL tables as being easy to use. And then another customer of ours, one of our first BPC customers, they're a wall-to-wall SAP shop. They were using BPC primarily for consolidation, but they also had needs in the areas of lease accounting, tax provisioning, and they wanted to replace Anaplan for the FP&A side. And McCain Foods moved to OneStream for all of the above. And they eliminated 2 days from their financial closing process and improved the data loading processes by 94%, which is impressive. And then my favorite quote is, the McCain finance directors considered this the most successful system implementation they had ever done. And with that, I'll turn it back to Peter for some closing remarks.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Graham. Just to add on Graham's comments, I'd like you to know that McCain and ATS Corp are not alone. Hundreds of SAP customers have chosen OneStream's unified finance platform, and I imagine they did so because they saw how OneStream can extend and complement their SAP ERP. Now, looking at this slide, just to give you an example here, you'll see Costco down there in the bottom right. Everybody knows it, so I thought I'd mention that one. And every one of their locations it plans, budgets, and forecasts using OneStream. So just one example there, and of course I'll add that obviously OneStream can integrate directly with SAP S/4HANA and ECC, and this allows you to extract real-time financial and operational data from SAP and maintain SAP master data and hierarchies within OneStream. So all of this means you can automate financial processes without disrupting, I guess, your SAP ERP operations. Okay, next. Yeah, so here's how we can help you on your journey to replace BPC. We offer advisory, implementation, and managed services for SAP and OneStream EPM solutions. So we can also help you with fit gap analysis to determine which of these solutions is the best fit for you. And to take it a step further, I'll go to the next slide and share something that Performance Analytics uniquely offers. So for those of you interested in moving to OneStream, you'll be pleased to know that we have developed a BPC to OneStream conversion utility. This takes only minutes to export your BPC metadata and build the representative OneStream application with an inherent comprehension of the dimensions, the hierarchies, properties, and even the ownership and currency cubes. And there are two key advantages to this utility. One, it's great to see what your application will look like to OneStream before you start designing and building. You get to see it in action, understand the terminology, touch it, feel it, and gain insight into how OneStream works. And then secondly, and this is what McCain and others have done, you can use it to take a snapshot of your BPC history and move it as is into a OneStream cube as an archive. In this way, you can always retrieve the historical information once BPC has been decommissioned. Now, we do have an offer for you. If you'd like to see your BPC application in a OneStream environment, I'd ask that you type in yes in the question window. So you'll find the question window either at the top of your screen or in the dash on the panel on the right-hand side where it has questions in chat. There we go. And yeah, just type in yes, and that only goes to us here at Performance Analytics, and we'll be happy to arrange a conversation with you. I think this is very valuable, very low risk way to preview OneStream, and we're the only ones who can offer it. So Again, if you're interested in learning more, just type yes in the window, in the question window, and we'll get that and arrange for a conversation. I'll also add, if anyone wants to see a demo of OneStream, just enter demo, the word demo, in the question window. Okay, so we have just a few seconds for that. We're getting to the end of our webinar on time. That brings us to our Q&A, and I probably should have mentioned earlier, if you had questions along the way, to submit them in the question window, but we're going to stay on here to take any questions that come in and be sure to answer them. If you do have to drop off, I just want to remind you that you will be receiving a link to the replay of this webinar and and the content from the slides. So, all right, questions. Graham, have we got anything that's come in at this point?
Just one question, which was on the migration from BPC to OneStream, just asking if there's a cost to do that. And
no cost.
I think I know the answer to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's not.
No, it's not. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's a relatively light effort. So it's a couple hours of your time and a few hours of our time, and then you'll get your hands on it. So very straightforward. Again, just let us know with a yes and the question mark, and we can chat.
That's, oh, sorry.
Questions for Matt?
Sorry, there's another question here. I'm just trying to see it. How long was ATS implementation time to go live, Matt?
Yeah, so we actually completed the paperwork, the legal documentation around September, and we were live basically when COVID hit. Our year end was March 31st, and so that fall and leading up to March, we ran a couple of, we did the setup, we ran a couple of consolidations in parallel, and we went live going into the next year for April month end. So fairly quick, if we think about that 6 to 8 months, and with a lean team. And it wasn't just consolidation, it was planning. And at the time, we were also working to implement a possible tax solution. So quite a heavy lift with a small team, but again, with a good support on the implementation side with our consultants and OneStream, that helped.
And I'll mention that we did mention McCain Foods implementation, which we were heavily involved in. Their consolidation component took, consolidation and lease accounting took 7 months from beginning to end. And then it's interesting to note that when COVID hit in March of 2020, I got a phone call from the corporate controller saying, we need daily reporting on all of our financials, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. And so they asked us and OneStream to jump in and help, and we did so. And we turned around that application in 9 days. So we were pretty proud of that, still pretty proud of that. And they were very happy with the results.
Did you say 9 days, Graham?
9 days, yes. We'd already had the consolidation application up and running. We just had to then modify it to give them a 9-day, because previously it was on a monthly reporting basis. Now we were changing it to a 9-day basis.
If you're not familiar with McCain Foods, they are like roughly $8 billion in US revenues and operating in 160 countries around the world. So
another question, we are in the planning stages of our S4HANA upgrade project with a projected go live of 2028-2029. Would it make sense to even consider something like OneStream?
Graham, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, we actually encourage our customers to go with an EPM strategy first before they go with their ERP strategy, primarily because it's much easier at the end of that process to just simply change the data loading process so you can have your reporting strategy in place throughout the the implementation of your ERP system, you don't have to wait for the ERP system to have that reporting strategy in place. So our answer would be, yeah, considering it at this point in time before you go into the S/4HANA project, absolutely. Any other questions? I think that would be it.
Well, then, yeah, I want to thank Matt Norris for sharing their experience. Thanks for coming on, Matt. And thank everyone for attending and your time today. We'll follow up, like I said, with a recording to you. And thanks again for joining.
Well, there is one more question about, is there a recording we'll have access to? Yes, we'll be sending out a recording. And another question just coming in, from a consolidation standpoint, can one stream consolidate in multiple currencies? The answer is absolutely yes. Multiple currencies, multiple year ends,
Maybe we stay on another few minutes, because I think that my questions tend to prime questions.
Yeah, we'll stay on.
Yeah, and we do use multi-currency roll-ups consolidation. So obviously we have the local currency, the reporting currency, CAD dollars, and then we have different parts of our business which are managing in US dollars or euros, and we're looking at the figures in those values as well.
Any other questions? Please pop them into the questions.
Okay, we're good?
I think that might be it.
Okay, thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Matt.